Good afternoon, colleagues. This is a new mode of celebrating the year end for us, so please bear with us. I'm here with my glass of mulled Ribena. Aidan Hawley's here with me as well, and between us we'll try and make the next 45 minutes as interesting and entertaining as befits the occasion. So thankfully we've got this far, and we're looking at Christmas in this day week, believe it or not. Just a quick little maybe reflection on the year that's gone past, and before word reached us of a potentially deadly, novel, unknown coronavirus. We never heard the word even before that. We continued up to then with live events, planning our 50th anniversary with a calendar packed with celebration for the year, some of which we got to do. So you can see here the 50th anniversary book launch, a CUA research symposium, very well attended by all partners. And also before the lockdown was announced on the 12th of March, we managed a visit to the London Embassy. We achieved approval for a Masters in Social Work, the first Coro approved programme in social work in Ireland. We launched the Athena Swan survey. We had an open day. And we also held the engineering fair. So you can see there the Athena Swan survey. And it's taken a little bit of time to come up, the open day and the engineering fair. And this is myself, Elizabeth and Colette in my office. At the very moment, we watched in stunned silence as the then Taoiseach Leo Varadkar made his statement to lock down the country. Very rapidly, we had to put in place a new list of priorities with everyone's health at the top of that list. Our plans for celebration at the Knocknaray Arena were replaced with talks with our HSE colleagues on how we could turn the Knocknaray Arena into a field hospital. Incredible to think that that was on the cards at one point. Thankfully, it was never needed due to no small part to the behaviour of people across Ireland and the maturity shown by our staff and students. A call out for volunteers to help with medical assistance and contact tracing was met with 150 colleagues signing up. A further call out for assistance for reagents, PPE and ventilators rallied an eager and skilled workforce into action at a time action was most needed. Here's a look back on a news report from RTE back in April.
With a global shortage of reagents for COVID-19 tests, Sligo University Hospital turned to IT Sligo for help. Scientists there scoured their stocks and those of other colleges, and now they're making crucial ingredients for two vital reagents in the test.
We're making the viral transfer medium, that's to take the viral swab and bring it to the diagnostic testing site, and we're also making what's known as a buffer, which, if you like, breaks up the virus and stabilizes the nucleic acid which is used in the test.
And so far 1,000 tests have been facilitated.
I'm optimistic that we'll be able to continue this support for as long as Sligo University Hospital need us to.
They raided their stocks again for PPE for medics. A team designed a ventilator which is almost ready for production, and they made facial masks from 3D printers.
And we've decided to set up a mini production line here on campus. We've also reached out to our contacts with industry, and we've had moulds made, and they're going into production to make thousands and thousands a week.
And even in these dangerous times when nobody's meant to be on campus, they've come in on an isolation basis and done their piece of work to contribute to the needs of the hospital.
These are very difficult times for the healthcare workers, and it's truly heartwarming to receive the support from the IT. Our hospital vision is preparedness and safety for our staff, so to provide the best and safest care for our patients in this period. So the IT will help fulfilling this vision. It's uplifting, and we truly need that now.
Eileen Magner, RTE News, Sligo.
This was our finest hour of community and healthcare support during the pandemic, and I congratulate and thank all of the people who volunteered in making this possible. We're joined now by some of those involved, and you've heard Una already, and you'll meet Ruth and Dave Roberts. But maybe, Una, just to ask you, can you tell us briefly how this all came about, please?
Thanks, Brendan. Yeah, the the college closed its doors on the 16th of March, and on 2 days later, on the 18th of March, I was contacted by two people. The first, Rod Toner, our HR manager, and he'd been contacted over the weekend by Dr. Omar Tujar, consultant anaesthetist, asking could we do anything to help in regard to ventilators in the college. I got the same request from our electrical lecturer, Pádraig Corneen, who was talking to Dr. Anne Dolan in the hospital, asking the same thing. I went talking to you then, saying, like, this is an opportunity for us. Could I reach out to all staff, see who wanted to come on board to help us? And I was really amazed with the response I got. Initially, we thought we might be pulling together our 3D printers and, you know, making some components or parts. But we quickly learned soon after that the issue in regard to PPE, face shields, and you heard me say on the clip there, we decided to go into production ourselves. And over a 7-week period, and I let Ruth talk to that detail, it was just amazing what we did and all the connections we made and reached out to right in our region. And we never thought we'd last for 7 weeks. We saw the planes come in from China, and we thought we'd be stopping within a week, but the need was still there in the northwest for us to provide PPE. As you saw in the picture there, we were asked by the hospital to make partitions, so our carpentry and joinery colleagues went to the hospital and put those in place. And even this week, our creative design students designed lovely decorations to give back to the hospital staff. So it's continuing to happen. Our health science students at the moment are doing projects linked in with COVID. So what we started back in March, nearly every part of the organisation has been involved in some way, and it's just been amazing. And I want to thank everybody who's been involved in this journey.
Thanks for that, Una, and that gives us a sense of, you know, how we got into this in the first place. Ruth, you were at the heart of making it work in the production process, and it was an amazing production process in a matter of days set up. Do you want to tell us a bit about how it all came together?
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. So, like Una mentioned, I was one of the participants that responded to that call, along with another 120 volunteers. It was very much a collaborative approach with research, engineering and science involved. We actually designed not just one type of visor, but we actually designed 3, which was fantastic in the short time frame we had. And we designed a 3D Verscan model, which you can actually see some of the recipients wearing in the background. We also designed a flat model and also a laser cut model. So we linked it with science in so much that we needed to ensure that we were sourcing from various contributors in the northwest, and we went elsewhere. So every morning at 8:30 we had Peter Gillespie calling in to us, and he was doing his bit, and we were actually cleaning it, assembling it and distributing it, each of the various models. But not just that, the HSE, we had built such a connection with the HSE that on the 1st of April, the HSE actually came in and actually literally collected up their first collection, which was for distribution, because the HSE had reached out to China, and unfortunately the limitations of PPE were very, very constrained. So they were reaching out to us. They weren't getting the PPE in the northwest at all. So basically what we did was we set up a distribution chain with the HSE. And not just along with the PPE, the HSE actually had built such a strong connection with ourselves and Una, they actually reached out to us directly to source FFP2 and FFP3 masks. And we were working with the Enterprise Ireland, and basically they put us in touch with a company in RD because the HSE had asked us to source gowns, because unfortunately the limitation in gowns were quite constrained. We actually reached out to our colleagues in St. Angeles because initially the concept was to change it from one design to another. However, that changed overnight and they wanted us to source SMS plastic gowns. So we actually worked with this company in RD, and only recently, up to last week, I actually heard from the HSE the Irish supplier, the main contingent that ordered the PPE from China, he actually told me last week that he had placed €1 million order with that same company, and that's because we put him in touch with that company. Also, we had the HSC from the Sligo University Hospital come up and visit our production line, and which we were able to showcase not just our PPE visor project, we were actually able to showcase our ventilator project and also our reagent project, and that was a huge success. We had Eamon Lally, who is the National HSE contact point, dialing on that particular day because he was eager to hear about our production. But I suppose it's all about the volunteers. It's about the 120 volunteers that gave up their time. Thank you to Una, John Bartlett, Jerry Bird, Suresh, all of the various contingents that provided us with guidance in conjunction with our disclaimer forms on our PPE journey, because without the volunteers and without the support from yourself, Brendan, and all the team, we wouldn't have been able to do this. We set up a 2-cycle shift. We literally operated from 9 to 1 and 1 to 5. We had fantastic collaborations with research and science and engineering. We had O'Hare's coming in with free sandwiches. I think I put on a stone weight over the few weeks with all the donuts. And we actually put our journey down. We documented our journey thanks to Suresh and John Bartlett in our journals. So that is documented. And then Una mentioned our bubbles that went up to Sligo University Hospital this morning. So thank you so much. Like Benjamin Franklin says, never leave until tomorrow what you can do today. We certainly did not leave it until tomorrow. We responded to the call on the 29th of February. We had over 120 volunteers. We distributed in such a short time frame 12,000 visors, not just to the northwest, but also to the east and to the Midlands. And we distributed to over 120 healthcare facilities across Ireland. So thank you to everybody. I had only a small part to play, but thank you to everybody on our PPE journey.
Thanks, Ruth. And you certainly were in the command module or control module of that, planning it together and taking the orders and trying to make sure that the distribution went out to everybody. And I know people from the PEM and the CRU group, contributed their action machines as well for the rapid prototyping. So it was a huge step up, and I think everybody was asking themselves, what can I do? Either get there on the production line and make something, or give something into the project. And as I mentioned, even O'Hare's reached out to us. They didn't have to do that, but they recognised the value of what we're doing. So again, a huge contribution to the community and the healthcare sector on that. But moving on, and Dave Roberts did a bit of work and continues to do a lot of work on the ventilator project. And different than the PPE, there was obviously a scare at the time that there was going to be a huge demand on our intensive care units and how many ventilators did we have. And given that COVID attacks the breathing and the lungs, that the view is that we will need to have ventilators and need to have backup systems. So that's where Dave and his team set in. Maybe Dave, you want to tell us a bit about that process?
Yeah, sure, Brendan, thank you. And I think going back to the early stages of the pandemic, there was a real fear that we were going to be the next Italy, and we were only 2 weeks away from that. And if you remember the rugby match that came in that was cancelled, but all the Italians came anyway. And as a result, we had a big kind of outbreak in Dublin. And that was, I suppose, the first sniff of reality for all of us. The next thing that happened was things weren't getting available. Companies that are in supply or production were closing down, and particularly stuff from China wasn't so available, because whatever was available, the Americans were buying it up. So there was going to be a real problem of supply, both of PPE, of chemicals, and of everything. And I suppose the count of ventilators that were available in hospitals around Ireland wasn't really complete, because they counted all the ventilators, including the ones that weren't working. So they had a real shortage of ventilators for the numbers that they were projecting that were going to come in. But even more so, they had a greater shortage of actually qualified people to deal with intensive care patients, both of intensivists and of the specialized nurses. So I suppose the actions that were taken slowed the pandemic down. In the meantime, they found ways to extend the number of nurses that could, number of patients per nurse, and to increase the number of nurses by having sort of constant in-hospital courses to improve their expertise. So the group that came together in the college included, of course, the very, very great contribution by all the guys in electrical and the people who are in PEM, in particular Porrick Common and Stephen Reed, who did a lot for making stuff, and Sam in the GW and John Corley making parts and components for prototypes as we went on. We were constantly worried about actually the supply of materials if we needed to produce ventilators in quantity. So which is why we looked at something as simple as a wiper motor and as a power supply from a personal computer, which formed the basis of, I suppose, our design. So we have a good design. I wouldn't be happy to be sick, but if I was sick, I wouldn't be unhappy to get one of our kind of Heath Robinson type machines rather than have nothing. But it wasn't designed on its own. There was also a helmet that came with it for treating patients, because part of the problem is the patients aerosoling the virus, and they have a sort of a helmet, a bit like a Ned Kelly, which contains the person, increases the pressure inside the helmet and allows the person to breathe easier, and they're expelling air then through a HEPA filter, so the air is clean as it comes out. And we completely re-engineered one of these helmets because the hospital here actually came down to their last one, and we were due to start supplying them, and then they got a new supply of helmets in from Italy. So we were very close, we were ready, and I suppose our unit, we could produce up to 10 a day. So we could probably produce 100 a week, which is enough for quite a lot of patients. But again, we could produce them by a craft method. So it just shows you that if things do get bad, people can come together and prepare a thing to make a difference. In actual fact, we were all ready to go, and then we didn't go, but here we are. So I'd like to congratulate everybody involved, and in all the projects, not just in this one. And this one, of course, involved the intensivist from the hospital, Dr. Omar, and other gentlemen who were down in Clare, who are older, retired engineers and scientists who spent a lot of time in actually providing the calibration and the consistency to prove that we were delivering a consistent air volume and that our IE ratios were within the range that was required. Just a particular word on a particular happy Christmas and good wishes to Jerry Bird, who is unwell at the moment. And thanks very much, and congratulations to yourself and to John Bartlett and Una and all the people who just said, okay, all the horrid financial restrictions that are on buying anything were suspended for the moment for us to be able to get through and get the components and get the parts made that we needed to get. And it was really a brilliant effort on everybody's part. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Dave, for that and for your committed contribution that still goes on. I understand you mentioned wiper motors there and power supplies. I think the intention of the design was that anybody could make this, around the world. And I think your plan is to get a website up there on how to do it.
Yeah, I suppose the idea is that anybody, any really competent electrical person, a tradesman, a carpenter, can make this with rudimentary tools. And we have a website under construction, which in its temporary site is under T O'Neill, www.toneil2ls.ie, and hopefully that will go live in about a week's time, where we have bought a website which is rad-os, which it'll all be thingy. That website is under construction. It's about 80% there. So
Okay.
believe me, if anybody sees anything on it that should be on it, it's not on it, or is on it and shouldn't be on it, please send me an email.
Yeah. No, and we'll circulate that, Dave, when that's ready.
Sure. Thank you, Brendan.
Brendan, could I just give a thank you to Suresh Pillai and all the work he's done with helping us produce publications on all the work that's gone on, documenting, the process of making the PPE, doing research into the masks, and also guidance, because David is going to produce hopefully a publication on the whole RAD project. So he's been fantastic in giving us guidance and support. It's such an important thing as an academic institution that we'll have these publications out there.
Yeah, no, you're very right, and I think it's actually a great example of the technology university that we want to be, and the IoT we are today, is the fact that we can do something very relevant. We can set up a production line in a matter of days in our own campus and provide something that people are using in the workplace, and at the same time reflect on that and explain how it works academically and to that audience. So that duality is, the evidence of that is excellent. Anyway, just overall, actually, I was thinking when Dave, you mentioned Italy, I remember Italy 90 and the great, team we sent over there. And then I think of the team the Italians sent over to us in Ireland 20. It certainly was a different experience for us in a different sport, but nevertheless, they brought something with them. Overall, I think it's an incredible movement and an extraordinary time. And here's a few words of thanks, actually, to those people we helped, along with the names of volunteers, just to finish up on this.
Hi, this is Nate White and this is Morley House in St. Christopher's. We just all want to say thank you for the visors. They were a great help and we've used them all, so much appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye.
Hey, hello, my name is Peter Doyle from Peter Doyle Data Centre, and I'd just like to say a big thank you to Sligo IT, and particularly to Ruth Moran, who provided us with these visors, which have been very useful, and she's also been a great help with sourcing PPE, which is hard got in these strange times. So thank you very much, Sligo IT, much appreciated from Peter Doyle Data Centre and all the dentists in Sligo.
Hi, Oliver here from Home and State Senior Care Sligo. I would like to thank the team at IT Sligo for providing us with face guards during COVID-19. As a frontline provider of care to older people throughout the Northwest, such support has been invaluable. Our carers in Home and State have continued to provide care to the most vulnerable in our community throughout lockdown. It has been a challenging time for our carers and all our staff, but everyone within our team has risen to the challenge, and the support provided by IT Sligo is very much appreciated. Face guards, along with other PPE such as masks, gloves, aprons and hand sanitizers, is crucial in providing our carers and our clients with that extra protection and reassurance during these anxious times. We are delighted to say that we've been able to provide a very safe environment for both our clients and our carers. Without doubt, home has proved to be the safest place, and with the support of organisations such as IT Sligo, we plan to keep it that way. Many thanks again.
Hi there, my name is Liam Deeney from Brindley Healthcare. We own and operate 10 nursing homes throughout Ireland. When the COVID-19 worldwide pandemic hit Ireland back in March 2020, there was a huge shortage of PPE, not only in Ireland but worldwide. PPE was essential to Brindley as we were caring for the most vulnerable people in our country in all our homes. In true Irish spirit and with a strong sense of community, everyone put their concerted skills and efforts together to help what was becoming a crisis. Our Donegal and Mayo nursing homes were very humbled to have been approached by Sligo Institute of Technology and their donation of almost 1,000 face shields. This selfless act of generosity was very much appreciated at this time. On behalf of our company's CEO, Amanda Torrance, management team, residents, staff and families, we would like to extend a heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all involved. These visors were a tremendous help as a preventative measure to help with the fight against COVID-19 and keeping our residents and our hardworking staff safe. In our times of need, it's amazing how communities such as colleges and volunteers come together and answer the call for help during these very challenging times. We are in this together. Stay safe.
you, IT Sligo.
A great tribute to everybody there, and you saw the list of volunteers. So just again, a heartfelt thanks to everybody who stepped up. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, when the pandemic struck, we needed to adapt and move quickly to ensure our students could continue their studies and complete their courses. This was achieved by the collective effort of everybody and each and every one of you. Students were mentored and taught and supported. Courses were completed, and students amazingly graduated in spite of the obstacles. As thought leaders of the region, we needed to come to the forefront. Webinars were held to help businesses reignite their confidence and to support their planning for recovery. The marketing department raised over €9,000 for charities in much needed support. We learned to explore within our 2-kilometre range. Remember that? Our gardens probably never looked better there in the spring. And I witnessed extraordinary dedication, hard work and camaraderie over a very difficult period from you all. When we reopened our campus, we had to find new ways to deliver programs and events. It would have been easier to cancel everything, but thankfully we managed to continue with so many of our events. And just to list some of those: graduation online, examinations, laboratories and workshops, the careers fair, science festival. We completed Block K, it's open for business now, and we're proceeding with Block L and the EO1 building, a new building. And we've continued also to win more funding opportunities in the last few months, outside of the COVID funding we got. We won an amazing 12.4 million for an ambitious advancement of online education, the Higher Education 4.0 project with our CUA partners. Another 980,000 for our devolved capital grant, which is an increase over last year. 5.7 million with our CUA partners for the TU project. 150,000 for the Innovation Centre. And most recently, only the last week, 10 million in the H2020 funding for coastal research. And well done, Dr. Salim Garbia, in winning that. And well done to everybody involved in these projects. It's great to see that nobody stopped the momentum of IT Sligo and still got on with the day job in the business. Yvonne Roach has collected some of the memories that you've all shared over our time here, our time apart, I should say, from the Institute. And that's been emailed out to you today. You can just see a picture of it there, but there's a nice little digital book being circulated online today. We're very lucky here at IT Sligo that we have built many long-term friendships over the years. This most definitely helped us throughout the pandemic. And we understand each other well. We might not always agree, but we've been able to support each other through tough times. Today, we celebrate colleagues who devoted 25 years service to the Institute. Many of you will recognise those staff who have and continue to make a huge contribution to the success of this Institute. And those lists, their names are being shown there. And that list represents over 400 years of service, believe it or not. And I saw Jerry Bird's name up there, and Dave already mentioned it. Just Jerry, to wish you all the best in your recovery, and rest over, take it easy over Christmas, and we'll see you sometime in the new year. A number of our staff have moved on in their lives and have retired from the Institute during the year. We will miss their expertise and knowledge and their presence on campus. I would like to acknowledge those people and to thank them most sincerely for their many years of service to the Institute and indeed to the Irish higher education sector system. Again, you're seeing the list of names there. There goes another 300 years of service, amazingly. you know, the amount of knowledge and expertise built up there that walked out the door. And good luck to them, and they're entitled to, they've earned it, but it's a loss to the Institute, and just to thank them for everything they've done. I also want to acknowledge the achievement of our colleagues who received their PhD this year. At any normal time, this is a very demanding commitment, which is made all the more difficult this year. And you can see the names there. Well done to you all. And I hope you take a well-earned break over Christmas. It's tough doing a PhD while you're working, and some of you have families, so very challenging to do that. Although we didn't get to run the 50th anniversary programme that we planned and announced last Christmas, this is a little short review of what did take place to mark the 50th years this year. That was. Sorry, that's. There's a new one coming up.
We are 50 years in the making. Built on a land rich in heritage and culture, from small beginnings we have grown. We are an institute of firsts, an institute of sport producing world-class athletes year after year. We are an institute of high achievers, the institute of online learning, of apprenticeships, developing new ways to earn and learn. We are the home of research, innovation and engagement. We are the home of the arts, design and architecture. Along the awe-inspiring Wide Atlantic Way, we are history makers. We are an institute of supporters and carers. We are an institute that never stood still and never will. Now we look towards a new horizon, a new dawn for a new generation. As we drive towards a technological university, we can proudly look back on our past. From humble roots, we have branched out beyond our campus walls, reaching further than we could ever have imagined. Most importantly, we've inspired generations to be the best they can be. We have witnessed history, we have made history, we have rewritten history. Now we enter a new phase. We inspire a new generation. Thanks to our past, our future has never looked brighter. This is a new beginning. This is IT Sligo.
Thanks, Aidan, for putting that together. Very impressive, and it's a good marker for the 50 years. Just to say, we started teaching in 50 years ago in September, so we actually have a bit of the 50th year still to go into the new year next year. So there'll be opportunities to do a bit more on the 50th anniversary. But just to thank the 50th anniversary committee for all the work that they've put into it so far. So we're gladly leaving 2020 behind, and we can reflect on a very strange year. It's been a time of frustration and even fright, for us all. And in some ways, it's given us all a chance to question the way we do things in so many aspects of our lives, and to reevaluate how we relate to our family and friends, and indeed to up the value of those relationships in our lives. And thanks to everybody on and off campus, staff and students, and thanks to you, we've managed to keep the virus at bay on the campus. And that's a huge achievement when you look what happens around the country, and so easily it can spark in a location and grow from there. We've managed to control it. We've learned how we can achieve better work-life balance, and while our working conditions mightn't be ideal at the moment, it has given us insight to reflect on our work practices into the future post-pandemic. Next year brings hope as the vaccine arrives. It will take time before we return to normal, but maybe we can start offering students a full college experience in 2021. And we certainly want to do that. We feel for our students that they're not getting that holistic experience. And when we can and when it's safe, we will do that for them. We can also look forward to approaching closer to a technology university. We have a bit to go yet in that, but we're confident that we will be celebrating a TU status a year from now. Finally, I want to thank you all again for your hard work and dedication. I hope you all get to celebrate Christmas in your own special way, and that you get to reunite with your family and friends safely. I know for some of you, it will be a sad Christmas with empty places at the table, and you have lost family members and friends this year. We've lost many former colleagues during the year, and I want to particularly acknowledge John Kern, who sadly passed away during the year in service. We also have lost Jack Kelly, who used to work here for many years as a porter, and Billy Codd passed away, and Matty Brennan, so a number of staff that we would have known over the years. But also, many of you have lost your own family members. And to you all, I extend my deepest sympathies and hope you can find comfort during Christmas. Given the exceptional year that's in it, and the fact that staff have stepped up in so many ways, working at unusual hours both on and off campus, we will be closing the campus on Wednesday evening, a day earlier than planned. And you won't lose a day's annual leave for that, just in case anybody's concerned. But we want to give everybody as long a break as possible. So pack it all up on Wednesday and go home. On behalf of myself and the senior management team, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. To play us out, we have a very special treat. Some Christmas songs from our own IT Sligo choir. Enjoy. A second now. People just getting their voices warmed up for this now. Okay, just 1 second. Have to practice running and singing. Here they come. I'll say it fine. Happiness.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, he's checking it twice, he's going to find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Brilliant. So uplifting, and thanks so much to the choir for putting that together. Not easy to bring all those voices together from remotely delivered songs. So really, really marvellous, and thank you. A great note to end on. I just wanted to wish you all a final happy Christmas. Enjoy yourselves, have a great time, forget about this place, and we'll see you all in the new year. And I want a final note of thanks to Aidan, who's put all this together, got everything uploaded on time and very well, Aidan, and coordinated all the ins and outs of different parts. So thank you, Aidan. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.